So welcome everybody. We are absolutely thrilled that you've all decided to join us today. This is the third session of our tapping, which is also known as EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique series. For those of you who are joining today for the first time, Melanie will start and run through kind of basics. And for those of you who have been here for two or one of the other sessions, you will find familiar territory, but you'll hear from Melanie how this third session is going to be a little bit different. And I did want to remind everyone that this is being recorded, as were the other two sessions. So they will be in the Woman to Woman video library if you'd like to refer back to them. And in addition, Melanie has a lot of other tapping examples on her YouTube channel. So if you'd like to learn more, you can always go and take a look at that. So again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rachel Justice and I co-lead Woman to Woman with Jillian Levinson. And I will be quiet for the rest of the session for the most part, as I will be turning everything over to Melanie Moore, who will be guiding us in the next hour. And I am really excited and looking forward to it. So thank you, Melanie, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Rachel, and hello, everyone. Nice to see some familiar faces. I haven't scared you away with this weird technique, and you're back for more, so it's really wonderful to see you back again. If you're new to the session, you might be able to tell I'm in England. I live just about 20 miles north of London in a place called St Albans in Hertfordshire, and I am an EFT practitioner. I'm a life coach, and I specialize in helping women in particular at kind of crossroads in their lives, I call it. We know these crossroads could be becoming a mother, kids starting school, starting a business, or as I'm going to be faced with myself in the next couple of years, empty nest. What do I do with my life then? Now the kids have gone. So that's kind of what I do. And the tool that I use to coach my clients is actually a number of tools, but specifically it's tapping, EFT. And I'm also known as a big vision coach. I love to help my clients to literally tap into a bigger vision for the future. And I've titled this series Mind, Body, Spirit. So the first 2 weeks, body, mind, spirit, wrong order. First week we covered body, around physical issues around tapping. Second week we covered mind. This was kind of around thoughts, negative thoughts, and how to reframe them, turn them into positive thoughts. And today it's entitled Spirit. And what I mean by this is, firstly, it's called this because at the end of a round of tapping, myself and lots of other EFT practitioners, we close with the phrase in body, mind, and spirit, which is just a very nice way to close the end of the round of tapping. And the reason I've kind of titled this one is because I guess we're probably going to go into slightly more esoterical territory today. Not religious as such, because obviously I know we're all from very different backgrounds, so I'm not focusing on any religion. But when I talk about spirit, you can interpret this word however you like. For some people, it's connecting to God or to Buddha or to Jesus or to whoever you pray and believe in. Some people may just call it connecting with the universe. Some people call it, connecting with their higher selves, or tuning in, going inwards, tuning into your inner body, your intuition, that word intuition, it's your inner teacher. Sometimes we get messages from within our bodies. So sometimes it's just all this is, when I talk about spirit, it's about quieting the external mental chatter and connecting with whoever you feel comfortable with connecting with, whether that's an internal guidance system or whether that's something externally from you. It's really open for your own interpretation. And, I'm really very happy to answer any questions you have around this. There's literally no right or wrong around whatever feels good for you. And how I feel that this is particularly good, for anyone at any time in their lives, but particularly when you're faced with, a health condition, with cancer, with anything else that's going on in your life, it's a really good idea to just stop and connect with something. Now, You may find this, it's a lot easier to do this when we're out in nature. Who feels that sense of awe and wonder when, you know, when I look at the scene there and Ellen's scene, you know, that beautiful place in nature, or when we're by the ocean, or when we're in the forest. Some people, you know, have this connection with trees, with bodies of water. I think when our feet are connected with the earth, you know, when we talk about, you know, grounding ourselves, sometimes it's literally taking your shoes and socks off and walking on the grass. We feel that connection with the earth. So I feel that for anybody at any time, it's a really good idea to connect with the earth, connect with nature, connect with your higher self. And a really wonderful way to access this is with tapping. So I've got a comment here. Love being in our city parks in New York City. Yes, even in the biggest cities, we get these in London, in the centre of London, you'll get these lovely green open spaces. So wherever you live, you're not going to be more than a few minutes from, you know, a nice patch of grass or a tree, or, you know, somewhere that you can just go and connect with nature. So highly, highly recommend that as much as possible, go and connect with nature, go and check out the sunrise or the sunset. Just take some time out to be in the present moment. Now, I'm actually going on vacation tomorrow with my family, and I was just scouring my bookshelves just for some you know, some reading material, some books to take away with me. And this book leapt out at me. Funny this morning, I thought actually this would be relevant for today. It's The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Has anybody read that, come across this book? Yep. Yeah, a couple of you. And you may or may not, it may or may not, but then I thought, I'm just going to flick through this. And I'm very intuitively guided. Sometimes my intuition, when I connect with my inner self, I just get these little nudges, little kind of messages from within to say, you know, pick up that book. And then my next intuition said, you know, just have a flick through it and see if something could leap out which might be beneficial for today's talk. So I did. I flicked through the books, stopped, and I'm just going to read what it says here. So it's just a little exercise for us to try. It's, you know, really lovely. And it just says you're connecting with the inner body. So rather than tapping, which we will be doing tapping in a minute, this is just a way for us to just connect with our bodies in this present moment. And the reason I love, you know, the whole concept of the power of now is because our thoughts, I've just thought, should I put myself on spotlight? Yeah, there we go. That might be easier. When we feel feelings like guilt or regret, or you know, it means we're kind of thinking about things in the past. And when we are anxious, it's usually because we're thinking about something in the future. But when we are in the present moment, in the now, often there's just nothing. It's just really connecting with the moment. And that's what we're going to do with tapping. But because I kind of felt guided to kind of do this with you today, I'm just going to read this out. So as I say, you may find this helpful to close your eyes for this practice. So obviously, please only close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. You know, if you're driving or out and about, then, you know, you can come back and do the recording later. So, so you may find this helpful to close your eyes for this practice. And so later on, when being in the body has become natural and easy, you can do this at any time. So with your eyes closed, direct your attention to the body, into the body. Feel it from within. So just for a moment, really connect with your inner body. Connect with the life force from within. The life in your hands, your arms, your legs, your feet. Connect with the life force in your abdomen and your chest. Can you feel the subtle energy field that pervades the entire body and gives vibrant life to every organ and every cell. Can you feel it simultaneously in all parts of the body as a single field of energy? Keep focusing on the feeling of your inner body for a few moments. Don't think about it, just feel it. The more attention you give it, the clearer and stronger this feeling will become. It will feel as if every cell is becoming more alive. And if you have a strong visual sense, you may get an image of your body becoming luminous. Pay attention more to the feeling than to any image that may arise. Feel it deeply. The feeling of your inner body is formless, limitless, and unfathomable. You can always go into it more deeply. If you cannot feel very much at this stage, pay attention to whatever you can feel. Perhaps there's a tingling in your hands or your feet. That's good enough for the moment. Just focus on the feeling. Your body is coming alive. Just feel this feeling for a few moments more. Okay, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay, so that was just a super simple connection with your body, with the moment. And you can do this at any time. So, that's without tapping. You could do that, when you wake up in the morning, when you go to sleep at the night. I just wanted to kind of give you a little experience of connecting with the present moment. So I'd love to know, how did you, what chapter is that in the book? Oh, just closed it now. In my particular edition, it's the chapter of the inner body, which is chapter 6, and it's page 93 in this edition. So it's chapter 6, the inner body. But I haven't read this book for years. As I said, I'm taking this on holiday with me to read, but I just felt intuitively, guided to bring this to this session today. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now, for those of you who are new to this, I will just run through very quickly, what tapping is. Please do go and check out the replays. I think you'll find a lot of value in the first 2 sessions where we talked about how tapping can help with physical symptoms. I think we've talked about how to relax and insomnia, but also how to create more energy when you're feeling tired. Also, we did some tapping for side effects of drugs on, gassiness and bloating as well. So that was the body episode. Then last week we did tapping for our thoughts, the mind. Now here we tapped more on kind of letting go of worry, letting go of overthinking things, letting go of tapping into feeling hopeful about the future as well. So I shared techniques on how you can transform worry into hope. And because, when we are going through any kind of medical crisis, when we think about things, it's a worry. It's, very worrying how we can, our thoughts can just run away with us. That then leads to sleeplessness. That then may lead to loss of appetite. So do go and check out the previous 2 sessions. Now, very quickly, we use our fingertips to tap on acupressure points under the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm, and the top of the head. And these points, or I had a slide which I can share. Rachel, do you want me to share them again? Or yeah, okay, I'll share the slide very quickly. So brief history of tapping. It's best described as a cross between acupuncture and modern day psychology. However, fingertips instead of needles are used to tap on acupressure points. It's drug-free and can be used by everyone at any age, even children. I've been tapping with my children since they were tiny. And, it's a really great way to, help children feel safe and calm and settled. And it's a great tool for them to be able to use through their lives as well. And so here are the points. So the top of the head here, you've seen me in the little screen here, tapping on the top of the head. This helps with kind of inner critic, so very, very, self-judgmental. When you kind of harsh negative talk, when we can tap on this point, that can help alleviate this. It's inner critic. When we feel lack of focus, hamster, overthinking, top of the head here. Eyebrow point here. Now, this is where the eyebrow meets the bridge of the nose. So either eye, either side of the head. So it's the edge of the eyebrow where it meets the bridge of the nose. This releases trauma, restlessness, hurt, sadness, impatience, and frustration. The side of the eye, this releases rage, anger, resentment, impatience, again, frustration and restlessness. And when we release these, we allow clarity, compassion, and understanding to come through. Under the eye, this releases fear, anxiety, deprivation, bitterness, greed, cravings, emptiness, and disappointment. And this allows contentment, calmness, and a feeling of all being well to come through. Now, under the nose, this releases shame, guilt, grief, fear of ridicule, fear of failure, and therefore allowing self-empowerment, self-acceptance, self-compassion. The chin here, this releases confusion, uncertainty, shame, and embarrassment. And this therefore allows certainty, clarity, and self-acceptance to come through. And then on the collarbone here, and the collarbone is kind of that bony, so it's just kind of where the dip of actually, let me stop sharing for a moment so you can see a bigger screen. It's kind of here and about 2 inches down and about 2 inches across. So around here, that's the collarbone point. Then we have under the arm, I shouldn't go back to the screen and telling you what these are all for. Okay, so under the arm, this is around self-confidence, guilt, worry, restriction, being held back, obsessive thoughts and poor self-esteem, therefore allowing confidence, ease, clarity, relaxation, and compassion to come through. And here, the karate chop point, this is where we start the round of tapping. This is very good for releasing sadness and sorrow. And sometimes you can just hold this point, very naturally. If someone in our lives needs comforting, very often we hold their hand and it stimulates that pressure point as well. So it's very good. That's why hand holding can be so comforting for people. The act of holding hands, you release, you are putting some pressure on that point, and it helps to release sadness and sorrow. And you can just do it on yourself as a self-soothing exercise as well. So these are the points. And then now we will go to demonstrating, doing some practical. So again, as we've done in previous weeks, I would love to have the audience participation, and I'd love to tap on the things that would benefit you most right now. So while maybe some of you may be thinking about some suggestions for me to tap on, just want to share other ways how tapping can be used with the spirit process. Now, one way that I love to use tapping, and now I'm going to ask, has anybody heard of Ho'oponopono? It's a Hawaiian self-compassion practice. Now, it's 4 phrases, and it's very it's a Hawaiian kind of ritual, and I don't know the origins of it, but it's 4 phrases. It's I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. And people say, what do these phrases mean? I don't really have the answer to that, but the idea is that these phrases can help to heal and touch so many different aspects of our lives. And it kind of moves beyond time and space with, energetically who it can connect to. So when we say I'm sorry, very often it's just saying it to ourselves, because sometimes we can be so unkind to ourselves, the things we say about ourselves, self-judgment. So it's just like I'm sorry. And sometimes there may be people in our past that we may want, people we may find it hard to say sorry to. So it's a very general phrase. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It's again, a lot of these are just directed at ourselves. It's a tool for self-love and self-compassion. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. This is for yourself as well. It's a self-love exercise. And thank you. This is just the art of gratitude as well. So sometimes, when I came across this, I just thought it was such a lovely, gentle, simple tool. I often do it when I go for a run. I just say those 4 words over and over in my head. I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And for some reason, it just makes me feel more centered, more grounded. And I don't know, it just elevates the way I feel. So I kind of did some experimentational work with, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you. And thank you. And it's so, so simple. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. And thank you. So it's a super simple thing. So we'll do it one more time. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Very gentle, very soothing. And it could just be what you might need just to get you into the present moment, when we're overthinking things, when we just want to just connect with something. But more than anything else, it's just, how can I give myself some more love today? I love to teach about self-love as well in my practice, and maybe a round of self-love tapping might be a good thing to do. We haven't done that yet, have we? It's a very powerful concept to embrace and to really, because sometimes we're quite far removed from it. And I didn't realize how much sometimes people have such an issue with, the concept of self-love. And I'm just kind of trying to find the right words to kind of put into this, but the self-love aspect is, because I love to teach and talk about relationships as well, but to be honest, the most important relationship you're ever going to have in your whole life is the one with yourself. You're the one, you're going to wake up with you every single morning. You're going to go to sleep with you every single night. And it's that reflection that we see back in the mirror every day. And the more love we can have towards ourselves, I do truly believe it helps to kind of heal all sorts of things, past and present and future as well, when we can really learn to love ourselves. When we learn to love ourselves, we really kind of start to take better care of ourselves. We think about the food we eat, we think about how we speak to ourselves. We talked about this last week. The self-talk that we have to ourselves is so important. Very often we don't really think about the words that we use towards ourselves. So let's do that then. And we've got a comment here, how to deal with anger. We'll do that in a moment. But let's do a quick round of self-love tapping first, because I really think this is connected with, the relationship with ourselves. So I'd love to know, actually, just a little bit of kind of a measure, and please be really, really honest here. And perhaps this is never a question. You may have never even have asked yourself this question before. I just want you to say the phrase, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And ask yourself, how true is this statement? If it's like, yes, absolutely, I really love and accept myself, it'd be a 10 out of 10. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with this, whether they're going through any kind of medical adversity or not. Some people have a very low level of self-love towards themselves, and sometimes could be 1, 2, or 3. So just sit with that phrase with yourself and say to yourself, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I've come across people who've not even been able to say the words. So if you're struggling with it, you're not alone. This is a very common thing. So I hope that by the end of this tapping, we can do something about that. So yeah, if you are, able to just connect with that, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. How true does that statement feel? 10 is absolute truth. 1, 2, 3 is pretty low. Anyone like to share? If it's if you're having difficulty with that, no worries. We can just tap it because okay, we've got 6 here. That's great. And maybe you just want to keep the figure to yourself, or maybe you're not even aware of what this. Maybe it doesn't even bring anything up. Maybe you feel very neutral towards it. So now I'm going to assess how you feel again at the end of this round of tapping. Okay, so just just tap along with me and see how you feel afterwards. Even though I may never have asked myself this question before, how much I love and accept myself. I'm going to do something about that today. And I'm going to begin to think about the relationship I have with me and the amount of love and compassion that I have for myself. And even though I may never have connected with this question before, I'm going to start loving and accepting myself anyway. Even though self-love might not be anything I've particularly considered before, as of today, I'm going to start changing that. And even though I've never thought about self-love before, today I'm going to start a whole new relationship with me. And I'm going to learn that this relationship with me is the most important one of all. And I'm going to learn to really deeply and completely love and accept myself. I'm going to start this journey today. This journey into self-love. This journey towards self-compassion. This relationship with me. Because it's the most important one in my life. And even though I may not have been particularly loving towards myself, I may not have spoken kind words towards myself, I'm going to start feeling this gratitude for myself, for me. And I'm going to start ramping up my levels of self-love and my levels of self-compassion. And I'm going to connect with my heart, the center of my body, and the center of where this love comes from. And I'm going to allow this feeling to ripple out through my body, to extend to every cell in my body. And I send huge waves of love to me and to every part of me. And as I allow this love for myself to grow, I then have the capacity to easily give this out to others, even on an energetic level. I choose to really love myself. Every single part of me. And even though it's been hard at times, really hard at times, to love myself, I'm going to start today to be more loving and kind towards myself. Speak words of love and kindness towards myself. Really learning to love myself. Because the truth is, when we love things, we then take care of these things too. So I'm really going to love myself now. And to really accept this. And even if this is really hard for me to do right now, I know that with practice, it will become easier. Learning to love myself more and more every day. Feeling at peace, feeling calmer in body, mind, and spirit. And take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Okay, so I'd love to know how you're feeling, but also, did that bring anything up for you? Now, I'm well aware that I know people who've had a really hard time with self-love work in the past. So we just love, any feedback, and, perhaps that can then be, material for us to then further work upon and tap on. Because the thing with tapping, it's going to bring up additional layers of emotion. It can bring up thoughts, memories, and tapping is really, really good for, we can tap on the past, we can tap on things that happened, many years ago, and we can tap on, I'll give you a little example. I did a group tapping session with a group of ladies actually in the United States a year or two ago. And these were all women who kind of like in their, in retirement, 60s and 70s. And there was one lady, she'd never tapped before. And what it brought up for her was this anger, funny enough, somebody else has just mentioned anger here, this anger she'd been holding for 20 or so years towards her husband. Now, little backstory. I think this lady was she was Canadian. So she lived in Canada with her husband and 2 children, 2 daughters, if I remember correctly. And her husband got a job in Texas. And so they had 2 daughters, and the daughters, I believe they were like 17 and 20 at the time. So the woman, the lady who was on the call, she wanted her daughters to come with her, but her daughters didn't want to come. They remained in Canada. And I think one was at college and the other one was probably on the verge of beginning college and didn't want to leave friends, boyfriend. And so this woman then moved to Texas with her husband whilst leaving her girls behind in Canada. And she shared that she didn't want to leave Canada. She didn't want to leave her husband. She didn't want to go to Texas. But she moved with her husband for his job. And she said but then she felt like she missed out on her daughters, basically from there. Obviously, she still saw her daughters. They visited, they, still saw each other, but she was so internally resentful to her husband for this move. And she didn't realize that she'd been holding, she was still married to her husband and they were still kind of okay, but she'd had deep, deep anger towards her husband. So we tapped on this anger, this 20-year-old anger. And at the end of the call, she was very emotional. She cried a lot during the call, but she said she felt this renewed peace. And we talked about ways to reframe it, so rather than being continuously resentful, I got her to think about vacations and think about the next family gathering and the times that I think she had grandchildren at this stage, and to really kind of just totally reframe the whole situation. And she said she felt that like 20 years of anger just left her body, just really kind of disappeared. She didn't realize how much it'd been eating away at her, her whole life. So a couple of people have said this here, maybe this is a bit of a theme here. So maybe it might be easier. And of course, you can be anonymous on this if you want to. And if people unless people want to share, it's entirely, if people want to share maybe something that you've been feeling angry about, for a long time now, because, anger is never a good thing. It's I think there's a Buddhist phrase that says, holding on to anger is like drinking poison but expecting somebody else to die, but really it's you that's damaging. So Marlene, you've got your hand up. Do you want to share?
Yeah, I'm a little reluctant to say this, particularly with the group, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have a lot of anger towards the medical establishment with their lack of empathy and sort of, they don't seem to acknowledge what people go through in their lives with different aspects of medical problems. There just seems to be an extraordinarily cavalier attitude. Now, this is not all people in the medical profession, because in fact, there are many people who are just incredibly empathetic and helpful. But, there's just this cavalier attitude about certain aspects of ongoing issues that have changed the dimensions of your life, that they act like really don't matter, or that they just don't want to hear about, or they don't exist, or they can't really focus on what they could do to help. Let me just give you an example. I was speaking to a doctor about some ongoing issues, and I'm not a victim. I just want to make this very clear. My life, I'm not a victim. But this person just sort of said, and I asked them for their advice about how to cope with a particular aspect of this ongoing issue. And their answer was just live. Now, to me, that was not very helpful, because of course I want to live. Why am I asking you for help to deal with a physical problem? And your answer is live. And, there was no acknowledgement that there is pain involved and difficult choices every day and compromises and, this sort of cavalier attitude. And it took me a long while to realize that I had this anger and where it was coming from. And, I don't want to hold this anger. I really don't. But, for all the goodness that you see, and you do see a great deal of compassion and empathy and just human kindness and awareness out there in the medical field, there is still quite a few people who really just seem to think you are a diagnosis, or you are a disease, or you are an illness, not that you are a human being who has this experience. So that's just what I wanted to share.
No, thank you for sharing. And the truth is, there are all manner of things that can cause us to feel angry. And everyone in this call, there's going to be a moment in time or an experience you've had that's just made you feel angry. And it's and of course, anger in many cases is justified. It's not a case of we have to accept something. Sometimes anger, I believe, can be a good catalyst for change. When people start to get passionate about things, it becomes angry. It then becomes that voice of where change can occur. Change very often doesn't happen from a place of, oh, everything's great, and everything's love and light and rainbows and unicorns. Change comes when people get angry. So that is when anger can be a tool for good. Now, when we hold on to that anger and we internalize it and we then repeat loops, that's not a good thing. So of course I can't offer any help or advice in this particular situation, but what I can help you do is, for anyone here on this call today, what we do is we'll think about something that's made you angry. So in your case, it's particular, maybe certain people you've dealt with who their cavalier attitude has made you feel angry. Now, for somebody else, it could be the traffic warden who gave you a parking ticket and who didn't, so that was literally just 1 minute over and they gave you a ticket anyway and you still feel angry. It could be something that happened years ago. Yes, absolutely. So the comment here, the body keeps score. We store, as just I said in that, that Buddha quote, I think quite a lot of quotes are attributed to Buddha. Whether he actually said it, I do not know. But holding on to anger is like drinking poison, but expecting somebody else to die, because the longer you hold on to it, it's just you that it's affecting. So, so just like the lady I shared, who had all this anger towards her husband for the move across the country. What I'd like to do now in this round of tapping is maybe think of something that you are holding on to anger to. And it could be something that happened years ago. It could be something that happened this morning. It could be somebody that you found it really hard to forgive. Because I don't know if you've noticed, one of the phrases in tapping that I've used today and in previous sessions is I love and forgive myself. And sometimes I love and forgive others as well, because forgiveness is not condoning of bad behavior. Forgiveness is freeing yourself from the energy of that experience. It's like, that happened, I'm going to make peace with it anyway, because I don't want anything to rob me of my peace. So that would be really wonderful. I think, if anyone could think of anything that, and you don't have to share it, something that you're just ready to let go of now. And what we're doing here is I'm going to kind of keep this round of tapping quite general, but I want you to think of something that perhaps you've been holding on to that anger for just too long now. And the question to ask yourself is actually what benefit is that to me to hold on to that? So, let's and just said, this lady who we tapped with, she kind of made complete peace with the situation, and she just said she just felt a lot lighter. So that's my intention this round tapping, that you're going to feel lighter and to let go of perhaps any anger that you may be holding on to. So let's tap. Here we go. Even though there's this thing, but when I think about it, it just makes me feel angry. It could even make my blood boil. And when I think about this thing, it's like living that experience all over again. But maybe, just maybe, it's time to let it go. And when I let it go, It's not condoning the behavior. It's just freeing me from this toxic emotion. And even though there's this thing that causes me so much anger, I'm allowing myself to make peace with it now. And I choose to let it go. And I choose to deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though there's this thing that makes me feel so angry, this memory, this person, or this situation, maybe, just maybe, it's time to make peace with this situation and to let go of these toxic emotions I've been holding on to. And I choose to deeply and completely love and honor myself. And even though I've been holding on to all this anger, maybe it's been years, or maybe it was this morning, I'm ready to let go now, because this feeling does not serve me. And I choose to deeply and completely love and forgive myself. Maybe, just maybe, this person or situation that's created this feeling. Can I go through the points? Or this anger. I've been holding on for it for too long now. Maybe it's been in the pit of my stomach. Maybe in my throat. Maybe in my neck and shoulders. Or maybe just in my head. All this anger. I'm recognizing that it's created a bit of a toxic soup in my body. And it's not serving me. And I'm allowing this anger to surface. And I'm allowing myself to process it, to release it, and to let it go. I'm letting go of this anger. I'm releasing it and clearing it away now. And maybe this anger has served a purpose. Maybe I can use it to create some kind of change. Or maybe I've just come to the realization that it is time to let it go now instead. And instead, I choose to focus on forgiveness. Firstly, towards myself for holding on to this anger for so long now. But maybe to this other person too. And I choose to focus on peace and acceptance. And I choose to feel calmer and more relaxed. And I'm allowing this anger to neutralize now. And instead, I choose to focus my energy on what I want instead. To focus on self-love and compassion towards me. To focus on the present moment. To focus on self-acceptance. To focus on the things that bring me joy. To focus on things that I can affect. Things I do have control over. And my emotions is one of these. I choose to focus on the things that bring me joy. The things that bring me peace. Things that bring me contentment. This is a much better use of my time and energy. I choose to focus on joy. I choose to focus on self-acceptance. I choose to focus on love. And I choose to focus on inner peace. Allow myself to feel calmer and calmer. More and more present. Grateful for this moment. Feeling more and more peaceful. Better and better. Focusing on the joy. Focusing on calm. Focusing on peace. In body, mind, and spirit. Nice deep breath in. And exhale. Again, love to know how you're feeling now. I forgot to ask you before the level of anger you're feeling, just to really think about the angry thing. But hopefully, I don't want you to go back there now. I just now want you to focus on how you're feeling. So, if I'm asked to ask you, how angry you're feeling. And of course, when we relive an old story, when, you share that thing, it's so easy to bring it back up again. But it's just to kind of like, to think, actually, what's a better use of my energy right now? Do I want to relive this toxicity again? Or, as somebody shared in the call last week, I've been thinking about this all week, the person I think who was talking about their blood sugar levels, and I can't remember who it was, no, shared that after 2 weeks of tapping, your blood sugar levels have dropped. I can't remember how many points or whatever, but that's how quickly we can focus on feeling better and calmer. And I love that. So we've got a comment here, feeling calmer, no stomach ache. Amazing. Gave me an idea how I take action to change. Yes, I love that. So of course, we can either talk about things that make us angry, or we can use that anger to fuel it for good, to make changes. That's wonderful. Anyone else like to share? That's great. We've got another feeling calm there. Wonderful. So, yeah. Any questions at all? I'm really, really happy to take questions. Either this week or anything to do with tapping, or the previous weeks, or anything you'd like to share just from 3 weeks of tapping with me. Yes, Marlene.
Does the ability to, I don't know how to phrase it, the more you tap, do you find that it's easier to do and easier to sort of calm yourself and, whatever your purpose is in tapping, does it get, easier, maybe not the right word, but it just seems more, I don't know how to express it, but the more you do it, it seems like it becomes more natural and more like an action you would take without even thinking, that it's just something you would start doing automatically. Do people ever get to that point that they just start tapping without even thinking about it when they need to?
Yeah, absolutely. Some people, just really become huge fans of tapping, and it's their go-to tool just to take them out of stressful situations. And it just really, in 5 minutes, you can completely change your state, and the course of your day will just go in a completely different direction. Kind of wake up and you're feeling a bad mood, and it just, I had this wonderful quote once. It's just like, a bad mood can just be a bad mood and you can shift it, but a bad mood prolonged becomes your temperament. Then left unchecked, that just becomes your personality. And then moving on from that, it becomes your personal reality. A mood left unchecked can just become your identity. But you can equally shift that. You can think, okay, that thing's made me angry. I'm going to let it go now. I don't want that angry, because we all know that person who's like bitter and angry, and they're permanently angry. It's just their identity. You don't want to be that person. But as with anything, over time, we can change that to, you hear these stories of people who live through the most dreadful circumstances, situations, but they could be the most peaceful, most calmest person. They have just altered their way of being. They let stuff go. They don't hold on to it. They don't let it, sit within them. So yes, absolutely. It's a wonderful practice. And, I discovered it 15 years ago, and it just changed my life when I was going through a really difficult time in my personal life. It helped me through my divorce. It helped me through dealing with teenagers. And right now I'm dealing with elderly parents as well. It helps me daily. It really does. Because otherwise I would, without it, I just can't imagine the person I'd be. So I'd like to just answer Janet's questions. Oh, Janet, you've got your hand raised.
I just want to say, I'm
yeah.
not sure if you see, but someone in the chat also asked if she could share something. So,
oh, yes. Who should we do first?
why don't we do Arin, I think is how you pronounce it, because she had hers up first.
Okay. Okay, Arin.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, because I've been wanting to experience EFT for probably a decade. And for whatever reason, never watched a video, never picked up a book, never got the therapist. But I think that when it's time, and you're making it so clear and so easy to do. So I feel very excited. And I want to preface what I'm about to say with, this is only what's true for me. I'm not insinuating that it's true for anybody else. But after reading The Body Keeps the Score and then experiencing EFT with you, which is really about somatic experiences, am I right? It's completely somatic. It's living within the body. When I was diagnosed with cancer back in March, I reached out to somebody who works somatically, because I thought I really want to tackle this spiritually, medically, physically, emotionally, every which way. I want to give myself every way to recover. And the first thing that she said to me was, "You are beyond belief angry." And I just started laughing, because everyone who's ever met me in my life is like, "You're beyond belief sweet. You're beyond belief nice. You're beyond belief calming. You're peaceful." She was like, "You're beyond belief angry. And your cancer started emotionally when you were 10 years old. What happened to you when you were 10? And it was something pretty horrible. I've had a lot of severe child abuse. And so this opportunity to tap and to really begin to realize that basically I have a choice. I can be physically ill and maybe even pass away, or I can forgive. Probably mostly myself, more than anybody. So I just, for some reason, thought that I would share that with the group. Again, it's only true for me. I'm not suggesting that people reach out to somatic, therapists, but here we are doing EFT, which is very somatic. And I'm just very grateful to you, and also to Woman, because I haven't answered any of these emails ever until just now. It was like 11:59 and I saw that there was a noon EFT, and I thought, why not? So I guess today and this moment was the time. So thank you very much. And to all of you for listening.
Thank you, Arin. do go and check out the replays of the last 2 weeks as well. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It's really touched me. Janet, let's go to you now.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to say that, over the years, I've been dealing with some relatives on my husband's side behaving badly. And I realized I was holding that in too. And I do meditate sometimes after a certain family event. There's only a few of them. Most of them are fine, but they're just toxic people. So I have meditated, and I'm definitely going to add this in, because there've been times where I had to meditate like all day long to get this anger. So this will just add to it, and I'm very thankful to you for it.
Oh, thank you, Janet. And that's the funny thing. When we have experiences, talk about the body keeps score, and we've heard things like that, and the holding on to emotions. We can hold on to emotions from childhood. We really can. And the thing about tapping, how it differs to a lot of other practices, is that I encourage people to bring it up and out, to let it go, to feel it. You've heard that phrase, you've got to feel it to heal it, because a lot of kind of therapies suppress it. And naturally, as human beings, we suppress bad stuff. We have a glass of wine, we watch Netflix, we go shopping, we do whatever we can to forget about it, but it's there. And even meditation is like, unless it's like some sort of active meditation where you're moving it through your body, it's like sticking a band-aid on a big wound. It's not really going to do anything.
Well, I meditate to like forgive people.
Yes,
There's special meditation.
Yeah,
That
of course.
helps.
Yes, yeah. No. No. So I was just talking about just meditate. Some people think, oh, I'm going to try and meditate now, but you know what you're doing. So it's a forgiveness, and forgiveness is so powerful. It's really, really powerful. One of the tapping videos on my YouTube channel is tapping to forgive others. It's such a powerful practice, and it doesn't condone the child abuse, the bullying behavior, the time that happened. It's freeing them, from your energy system, and it's moving on and finding a way to be happy despite that, and to move on with your life. So that's why I love EFT, of course. That's why I'm here with you, sharing it with you, and I'm really pleased with I've had some really wonderful feedback from you all these past couple of weeks. So I'm really thankful to you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Melanie. This has been amazing. And I think people are having such strong reactions. If you look, there's a lovely quote from Marlene in the chat right now also. And it's been so interesting. And, from my perspective as a professional, there are very few times I go into one of these sessions and really don't know anything about it. And this was something that I had heard about. I had been at a workshop about something else last year, and there was a very small portion, maybe 15 minutes, where they talked about tapping and showed a video. And I remember thinking, this is interesting. I'd like to know more about this. And usually if I want to know, I figure, okay, maybe other people do also. And as we've seen consistently from week to week, I mean, this is just, it's been this incredible journey with you as we learn more, build upon, what we have done from the weeks before. And I love, Erin, I love that this call to you to come out today. I think that's wonderful, and that's our goal. We put a lot of stuff out there on our calendar, and not everything is for everyone, but if you see something on there that's of interest and you come, like that is, that made my day. So
me too.
I know. It has been a pleasure. I mean, it has been an absolute honor working with you. You've taught us so much more than just EFT. You're so wise in so many different ways. And I love the different quotes and sort of the techniques that you've taught us. And this is going to stick with people, I think, for a very long time. And I'm personally excited to go and explore your YouTube channel a little bit more. So I hope that you stay a part of our community, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you all for being here and for learning with all of us these past 3 weeks. And for those of you who didn't attend all sessions, please look in our YouTube library over the next few weeks when these sessions get uploaded, and go forth, find peace. And what is the phrase, Melanie, that we've been ending with? Maybe that would be a great way to end today.
I think it's just, the end of the phrase is, that whatever it is we're going through, it's just, we can find peace, in body, mind, and spirit. I think that inner peace is just, it just ripples through everything. If we can come to that place of inner peace, all is well.
And I like the way that you've been ending with the in body, mind, and spirit also. I think it's
Yes,
a lovely expression. And that is what I hope for all of you. And what, I hope for you too, Melanie. So thank you so much, everybody, and hope to see you soon and have a great afternoon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.